Hi guys, today I'm here with my husband Lewis.
Hello.
We wanted to sit down and have a bit of a chat about how my chronic illnesses have affected our relationship. I feel like it's not really something I've seen many other people kind of speak about, and it's definitely something that I worried about a lot in the start when I started getting my diagnoses. So I thought we could sit and chat. So I'm going to ask some questions. Lewis is going to answer them. I might have some things to say as well. We will see. How did you come to terms with the fact that I will be ill to some degree for the rest of my life?
Well, at the start, it was definitely quite gradual as the diagnoses were kind of split, really. It was like one after the other, but
Yeah.
not in such a short amount of time. I kind of dealt with it all. We found ways to separately deal with them. But now, as things are like calming down with different ways to make overall life better, just coming to terms with the future, I feel like now we're definitely at a point where there's an end and that we can kind of tackle it together all at once and make things a lot easier. Well, obviously, as we've done research, we've been to appointments together, we've both learnt how we can each do things better for you and us together.
Yeah.
I feel like now we're at a really good point where we can kind of move on from learning new things to tackling it all together
Yeah.
at once.
What do you mean by there's an end? Because obviously you know that these are for life.
I mean, like the end of, I feel like we're at a very comfortable point where, say, if something new does come up, we can tackle it together with everything else rather than being like, right,
Oh god, this is
it's
another thing.
yeah, it's gastroparesis this time, or this is your reactive hypoglycemia. It's something that now we can just form together.
Yeah, sort of like an addition rather than like, oh my god, this is a whole separate new thing.
Yeah.
How do you feel having to help me in public?
Now, absolutely fine. I kind of push you to go out as much as you can. I know, obviously, physically, it's absolutely draining, even though we have wheelchairs, walkers, walking sticks, all the sorts of mobility aids to help you get out and about. But for sure, at the start, I was quite on the lookout for the starers, the comment. I was definitely quite protective, which,
I think you were kind of ready to have that argument and back me up.
yeah, which is not very helpful when my main purpose is to care and to be supportive. And if I'm on edge on how other people think, that's not going to make me be the best carer and
Yeah.
support system that you need.
Yeah, because I think definitely when we would go out, especially at the beginning, you were so anxious. I think the main thing was with the blue badge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like every time we would park, he would be like staring out the window, trying to find someone that had a problem with it, which made me feel like a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't think either of us kind of understood that at the beginning, but we have obviously since spoken about it. And now his main focus is okay, let's just get you in the wheelchair. Let's go into the shop. Let's try and keep you comfortable. If someone says something, I know full well that you would back me up and you would support me. But, you know, in those kind of instances, that's not really happened face to face yet. And
No.
I think it's, you know, you're so ready for that to happen
Yeah.
that can make it quite a stressful situation for me as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
And
I'm glad
also,
we past that.
yeah, for sure. And also, it doesn't really matter on other people's opinions with it. Say if someone does bring something up, it's a 15-minute stressful situation. Next minute, we're at home dealing with our normal day-to-days.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess like for me, it's hard enough to kind of get out of the house as it is.
Yeah.
I really don't need that added stress of like being on the lookout all the time and being so focused on other people, because I'm using so much energy just to get out of the house and get into the car and get into the wheelchair and push myself around that, yeah, it's kind of just like another sort of added stress.
Yeah.
Has it changed how you see me?
No, absolutely not. I think people put on so much focus on how things have changed. There's surely some sort of feelings that have changed. No, I still very much see you as the love of my life, and I have no change in that whatsoever.
I think our relationship part really hasn't changed that much. Like if you put the illnesses and stuff aside, sort of the way we communicate with each other, the way we chat, the way we laugh hasn't changed.
No, absolutely. You're still the funniest person on earth, and I still look up to you in many, many ways.
You know, the times where I am feeling kind of okay, those times haven't really changed much. We still, you know, sit down in the morning and have a cup of tea together and have a conversation. We still play with the kids and talk about the kids and plan for school and things like that. Like none of that has changed. I think there's a lot more pressure on those situations, and there is a lot more times where I might have to stop you in the middle of the conversation and be like, hey, I actually feel really faint right now. I'm gonna lie down. I'm so sorry. Or like there has also been times where I don't have the energy to speak,
Yeah.
And that sounds so stupid to someone who doesn't get that, but there will be people out there who will understand that feeling, where it's just like, I am so physically exhausted that I don't want to sit and have a conversation.
Yeah.
But in those times, that's when you kind of go off and do your own thing, and that's when you kind of have that time to yourself.
Yeah, when that first started to come about, it took me a little bit of time to understand it for sure, like you said.
Well, you
from
thought
people-
that I just didn't want to speak to you.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I'll just hide in the corner and feel bad about myself, which doesn't help the overall situation. But then obviously with conversations we have the next day or just after, it's like, oh, okay, seeing it from your perspective,
there was a reason.
There's a reason for it, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna leave you to it. I'll keep an eye on you. I'm going to do some bits and bobs.
Yeah. So I also wrote down, has it changed how I see you? As I kind of put in my notes, there is some level of resentment, I think, because you are the main person that I speak to. You're like the only person that I see day to day. And watching you be able to do the cooking or cleaning, or watching you take the kids to school and things like that, when I'm literally just stuck in the same position on the sofa every day, has been really hard because we used to do all of those fun things together. Yeah. So there is some level of resentment, I think, but those feelings tend to be fleeting. Like, we do sit and have a conversation if I'm feeling that way, or I'm like, oh, well, you get to go out and do whatever you want, or you get to clean the house and you're not doing it. And like, I think I get that feeling quite often, but also you're quite reassuring in a sense of when I do feel like that, we kind of sit down and we chat about it and we kind of squash that feeling quite quickly. Yeah. Other than that,
I mean, I think it's normal from when, say, if you're like, you got the cold or the flu and stuff like that, something very minor, and you can't get up out of bed, and you're seeing someone else go about their day, you're like, oh.
It's like when you had your vasectomy, you had to lie down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that was.
And you watched me, you know, we just had a baby as well, hence the vasectomy. And, you know, I was kind of bouncing around, breastfeeding, getting up with the kids, doing everything, having to bring him food and stuff like that. And I remember him sitting down afterwards being like, I am so sorry that is how you feel all of the time.
Like gut wrenching, seeing your not only mental load but physical load just triple just because I'm either not feeling well or physically out of it.
Yeah. I mean, again, when you went into hospital, that was.
I think it was easier in the hospital
because you didn't have to see it.
I didn't see any of it. Yeah. And obviously, the phone calls and stuff like that were like short and brief because
I also played it up on the phone because I didn't want you stressing out while you were in hospital. Absolutely. So I'm sat there on the phone like, yeah, the kids are great, everything's really good, and I'm at home like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. But I think, you know, romantically, I see you in a better light now because we obviously moved quite quickly in the beginning. We've been married for 4 years now, and you know, when you do kind of rush in a way into something, it's hard to know how they're going to react through the thick and thin that you promise each other. But we've been through it. We have been through it, not just with this, but with plenty of other situations as well.
The normal relationship issues, family issues, and stuff like that.
And money and housing and everything.
All boxes of the standard relationship overall issues.
I do think that I see you in a better way most of the time, because it's, you know, watching someone drop everything they care about, and especially when you did have to leave work that time because things had just gotten so bad and I wasn't coping on my own, knowing that you do that without the guilt, without making me feel bad, without even complaining that, you know, that's something that you had to do. You're like, yeah, absolutely, okay, I'm here, don't worry about it, I'm never leaving your side. That makes me feel so secure. So in that sense, in a better way. How do you feel when others who may not know enough about my illnesses take me out without you there?
So when it's a new person, say obviously you meet someone and let me know or whatever, I definitely have some issues in the sight of, do they know your limits? Do they know like the signs? Because things can change so drastically.
And there has been some problems with that, where I'll like go to a pub in my head going, okay, I'm going to have 1 or 2 drinks, then I've got to get a taxi home and I've got all of these plans. And they're like, let's walk to another pub, let's do this, let's drink shots. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I can't do that. And then I try and explain, they're like, oh, don't be silly, of course you can. But like, they don't know me.
No.
And I don't want to sit there and be like, I've got this and this and I can't do any of those things. I'm not a normal person. I'm just here trying to get outside. And it's so rare that I even go out now try and make sure I'm with a safe person, but I can imagine that's quite stressful.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got our location shared between us, and when you're out with, say, fresh people, it's kind of like, right, I'm just gonna double check where you're at, or I'm gonna make sure you're not in the middle of the street, out of it, and stuff like that. With some randoms, it definitely feels controlling in the sense of not the fact that I don't want you to be around new people. It's the fact of I want to be there to help, and I'm so used to being there 24/7. I don't have an issue with you going out. So
but
if
this
you're
is
like,
the
right,
thing.
I'm going
Like,
out,
obviously, you don't have to explain that to me because I get that. But from an outside perspective, it can look like you're being controlling.
Absolutely.
But whenever anyone has made any comments about like, oh, he doesn't let you do this, I'm like, well, right, okay, but there's a very specific reason for that, and here's what's going to happen if I do try and do this. And I think, you know, having chronic illnesses, again, a lot of you may understand, I push myself way too far. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, I don't want to take my medication. Oh, I hate this stupid thing. I'm going to go on a walk. I'm going to go on a run. I want to go to the gym. And he's like, you probably shouldn't do that. And he never pushes me. If I really don't want to do something, or I really do want to do something, like obviously I've got the reactive hypoglycemia and I shouldn't be having sweet drinks or sweets or things like that. Rather than saying no when I ask for them, he will give them to me. And then he'll be there to support me through the crash out as well, which I very, very much appreciate.
Yeah, because it's I don't want you to stop wanting stuff or trying different stuff or doing whatever you want, because seeing you have a chronic illness, it can be so limiting on what you can and can't do. And when there's that burst of feeling like, oh, I want to do this, I still want you to have that excitement or burst of energy, because it's really nice to see you wanting to do new things.
Yeah, I mean, or you try and make it so that I can do the new thing or try the new thing in a way that's safe.
Absolutely.
Which can be quite difficult, so that's not always the case. But you know, that is something that we do take into consideration, don't we? This is the point where we start getting into the really nitty-gritty stuff.
Okay.
Do you still see me in a romantic way, even on my bad days?
Yeah, no, I do see you as my love, my wife, even when you're feeling complete bottom of the pile kind of feeling. Obviously, when you're in your low sugars, more dramatic and seizures and stuff like that, I'm not there like, oh, that's my wife. That's I'm like, oh, right.
My wife. Oh no, my wife.
My wife. It's definitely more what's important right now. I'm not gonna sit and cuddle and snuggle up to you when you're feeling like rubbish. I do put myself in a position of time and place. Sometimes I do get that wrong.
Has it changed how we spend quality time together?
I mean, thinking about how we started our relationship, it was obviously during COVID. We played games together, we hung out a lot.
Kind of just
Coffees
sat in the car and just listened to music and went to cafes and stuff, didn't we?
Yeah, that hasn't really changed. Obviously, with the 3 kids, there's a lot less time where it's just us.
Less alone time, yeah.
But that's just normal parenthood. We've accepted that, and we try. But
I think we put less pressure on quality time together now. We understand that, you know, he's busy, I'm busy lying on the sofa. I'm busy, okay?
Busy being unwell.
Busy being unwell. And the little energy that I do have, we do try and spend that majority on the kids. But we also know that we've got quite a few little special occasions and milestones that we celebrate, and those are always prioritized.
Yeah.
So we've obviously got our wedding anniversary, we've got our dating anniversary, we've got the day we met, things like that. Like we put a lot of pressure on those to make sure that we do something for those, and we always make sure that it's like appropriate. But I think day to day we still have a laugh. We still, you know, we both do a bit of our TikTok and filming and stuff, and we help each other with that.
Yeah.
We can't go gym together anymore. Like.
Yeah, we can't go out for a nice walk or stuff like that. There's that physical aspect of we've definitely been housebounded for a while at some points, which stresses us both out because we're naturally quite outside people. We want to,
especially where we live as well.
Yeah, we want to go down to the beach. We want to go out for just drinks and just enjoy time outside. But when can't, it can be quite stressful. Obviously,
we try not to force it anymore.
Yeah,
we definitely forced it at the beginning, but then we dealt with the crashes after that, and that just wasn't worth it.
We've learned from it, and now we plan things, and say if something's happening later on in the day, we kind of like
one thing a day maximum.
Literally, we kind of like check in, like how are you doing? We kind of prep the car, prep the morning, the lunches,
the
and
medical
kind
bag.
Of say if it's like if we're going to do this, we've got to do this now. we're like, right, go.
Whenever I do sit up one day and I'm like, I have a bit of energy, he's like, all right, let's get in the car, let's go somewhere nice. I think we're gonna have to make this into a part 2 because this is getting a bit lengthy.
Part 2.
Part 2.